Okay, it is 7 o'clock. So while we let a couple people in, I'd like to introduce the Dean of the College of Professional and Global Education, Catherine Harris, who is going to say a few words just to start off our information session, and then we will take it from there.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry you can't see me. I'm sort of traveling. So I just want to say you're in fantastic hands with Joe and Eliza. I'm the dean of the School of Continuing Education. It's a fancy title for people like you who need to and want to reboot their careers. So welcome. This is a wonderful program. Even if you are not quite sure if you want to do it or not do it, I'm available. I'm going to put my email in the chat. If you have any questions, you reach out to me, okay? Joe, I'm going to let you take it away. It's a privilege to have you all here. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. Really appreciate you coming. All right, everyone. So it's 7:01. Here's what you do for me right now. We are going to talk tonight from about 7:05 to 8 o'clock, and I'm going to present a PowerPoint about the ABSN program here at Cal State LA. After that, I will be taking questions from you all about anything. So what I ask is that during the PowerPoint presentation, if your question specifically relates to a clarifying point in something that I'm talking about, like you didn't understand, a date that I was saying or something like that, feel free to raise your hand and ask your question. But if your question is more like, I have a very specific thing relating to me, then save that for the general Q&A afterwards. It's 7:02. I'll start the actual presentation at 7:05. So now is your moment to get up, grab as many comfort beverages as you would like, get yourself to the restroom, anything like that, and I will start talking at exactly 7:05, just to give the few of us who are rushing in from dinners or family obligations or work or whatever we're doing an opportunity to get in, and then we'll get started. And while you're here, if you want to just throw your name in the chat really quickly to just let us know that you're here, that way we have a record that you came, that would be appreciated. I think I solved the dinging issue. Is it still dinging on your end?
I solved on my end too. So
Oh, great.
Mine's all good. And I didn't introduce myself, but my name's Eliza. I am the ABSN coordinator. I have Joe helping me out with this presentation, but I will be kind of monitoring the chat as well. So I know he's going to be sharing a bunch of information, but if some questions do come up, I will be answering them simultaneously as well. So it's really nice to meet everyone.
Yes, absolutely. We really appreciate you all coming out and sharing your Thursday night with us to talk about nursing, and specifically nursing at Cal State LA. We're so thrilled to have you. We'll get started in about 1 minute here, so just hold tight. All right. So it is 7:05. Welcome, 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 everybody. We are thrilled to have you here tonight. As we've been saying, we are excited to talk about the nursing program here at Cal State LA. Both Eliza and myself are nurses, and we are very passionate about helping to grow the next generation of nurses and excited to talk to you about it. My name is Joe Castley. I am a registered nurse. I am also a faculty member at Cal State LA, and I am part of the ABSN team. And I am so excited to be joined. She just introduced herself by my co-host for the evening, the program coordinator for the ABSN program, Eliza Monlinget. And we are in good hands. She'll be monitoring the chat. I'll be talking. At this point in time, I'm going to start to share my screen, and I'm going to start the PowerPoint presentation, and we will go from there. Again, if you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat and Eliza will attempt to answer them. You can also raise your hand if you'd like me to stop and clarify anything in the PowerPoint. But again, if your question is more of a personal question, I'll just save it for afterwards when we start taking a lot more questions. We are recording the session. We tend to post the information sessions just so anyone who couldn't be here has an opportunity to see and learn from them as well. All right, so without any further ado, I am going to share my screen. Hopefully this works. Okay, all right. All right, can we see my screen? Yeah, thumbs up. Are we seeing the first slide of the PowerPoint? Somebody give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Sweet. Rihanna, thank you. I appreciate you. You get the first gold star of the evening. All right, so just to make sure you're in the right Zoom, welcome to the information session for the Accelerated Bachelor's of Science in Nursing program, the ABSN program at Cal State University, Los Angeles. We are Joe Castley and Eliza Monlinget, and I am very excited to talk to you about the program here today. So we'd like to start off by showing you a view of Cal State LA. Should you choose to come to our program, this is where you will be going, and that large tower there with the giant Cal State LA logo on it is Simpson Tower, which is right below Salazar Hall, where most of our classes are held. We are an in-person program, so we like to start off by just showing you where a majority of your time will be spent over the next 15 months should you join our program. So what is the program? It is an accelerated pace program for non-RNs who hold a bachelor's degree in a field other than nursing. It used to be an entry-level master's program, but we are now currently an accelerated bachelor's of science and nursing program. The history behind our original entry-level master's nursing program and the transition to an accelerated program. So we started this program as a entry-level master's that allowed students to come in with a previous degree in anything other than nursing, and they would essentially move through a 15-month accelerated program that would get them an RN license, and then they would get a master's degree after completing another additional 12 months of coursework. What we found out was that the bachelor's degree in nursing is actually more valuable than the master's degree because a lot of regulatory bodies are looking for that bachelor's of science in nursing. So we're making sure that our students get that bachelor's of science in nursing before they go on to their MSN. And then also previously in our entry-level masters, it caused an interesting situation where students would essentially go through the program, get their RN license, but not have a degree associated with it, and then get their master's degree. If something went wrong while they were doing their master's program, they could get themselves in a sticky situation where they had a license but no degree, which meant they couldn't leave California. So we've moved to an accelerated bachelor's of science in nursing program, and there is an option to continue on in your master's, and I'll talk a little bit more about that during the information session. So it is possible for our ABSN students to start our MSN program immediately following graduation. So what does this degree get you? So successful completion of our 15-month program results in a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree, and that degree qualifies you to be able to sit for the California Registered Nursing License exam. It's actually a national license exam. So if you're in California but thinking about leaving afterwards, this degree would also qualify you to take that exam in any of the other 50 states. You would just apply to their Board of Registered Nursing. It is a national exam. Everyone takes the same exam, and that exam is called the NCLEX. Previous degrees do not need to be science-based in order to be successful to this program, both according to our experience and the literature that's out there about second-degree nursing students. So if you're coming to us with a degree in fashion or business or marketing or English or literature or theater or any of the other amazing degrees there are out there, architecture, you will be successful in this program. In fact, 20 of the 30 students admitted during summer 2025 did not hold a science-based baccalaureate degree. So there is no requirement that you have a science background in order to be accepted into the program or to thrive in the program. So just a little bit about the types of demographics and the type of students that come to us. They're exactly like you. So the most common age range for this program is usually from the mid-20s to 30s, but we have students in their 40s and even 50s that have completed this program successfully. It is a diverse group. Now, we are Cal State LA. We are LA. We sit in the middle of Los Angeles, and we are proud of that fact. We are proud to be the Cal State that is serving Los Angeles, and we are very proud of the community of Los Angeles, and that is a very diverse community. Any way you define the term diversity, Los Angeles has it, just like our ABSN program. So it is very diverse, gender, race, and age-wise, along with previous professions. We see applicants from the UCs, from CSUs, from private universities, and both within and outside of California. Majority of our cohort will come to us with some level of previous healthcare experience, whether that be working as a CNA, an emergency medical technician, a medical assistant, a volunteer at a local hospital, a home health aide. We have a lot of different varieties of kind of healthcare experience, but majority of our students end up with some healthcare experience. So let's talk a little bit about the end goal, which is you getting an RN license. And in order to get an RN license, you need to pass the NCLEX exam. It is the National Council Licensure Examination, and it is an exam that everybody who is a registered nurse has taken at some point in time. It is the only way to become licensed in California or any of the 50 states. Okay. Oops. Wait. Whoa. I lost my background. I'm sorry. I was trying to advance the slides. So because you're focused on the NCLEX exam, because you want to get a license, we're focused on the NCLEX exam. We want you to both be successful, critical thinking clinicians, but also we want you to be successful in your test taking skills. So we have had 425 students who have completed our program and taken the NCLEX over the last 16 years. Of that group of 425 students, we are proud to report that we have a current first-time pass rate of 98%. So 418 have passed on the first try. We had another 6 pass on the second attempt, and then we had 1 more pass on a third attempt. So currently standing for the life and history of the program at 98% pass rate, which we are very proud of. We have 5 additional nursing programs at Cal State LA, so we're not just the ABSN program. We do a lot of different things in nursing. We have an ADN to BSN collaborative program, an RN to BSN program, a traditional BSN program that's a 3-year program. We have a Master's of Science in Nursing, and we are starting our Doctors of Nurse Practice program this coming spring. And so we're very excited to be offering all of those programs. We are an accredited institution, and we are accredited both by the Commission on College Nursing Education, CCNE, with our most recent accreditation coming in 2023, and we will be re-accredited in 2033. Similarly, for the Board of Registered Nurses, we were accredited in 2023, and we will be accredited again in 2033. Our university also receives accreditation from WASC. So let's talk a little bit about application to the program. So our application is actually going to open in 2 days. So it is October 30th. This Saturday, November 1st, our application will open up on the Nursing CAS website. That's Nursing CAS. And the requirements for that include several different things, which I'm going to go over right now. So first off, for your bachelor's degree, your undergraduate coursework, we have a preferred GPA of 3.0 or better. It is not a requirement, it is a preference. So if you are under 3.0, you are still eligible to apply. Where we do have a cutoff is we do need a minimum GPA of 3.0 for the last 90 quarter units or 60 semester units of academic work. The way that works is we look at all of your coursework and we take the most current stuff. So if you've been going to community college to get your prerequisites, or if you've got a master's degree after your bachelor's degree, we start at your most current coursework. We go back till we hit 60 semester units or 90 quarter units or a combination thereof, because it's the same equivalent. And then we look at that GPA, and that has to be at 3.0 or an average of a B or better. We do have 6 prerequisites for the program. 4 of them are science-based prerequisites. Our science-based prerequisites, we do require that each and every one of them is met at a 3.0 or better, which is the equivalent of a B, excuse me, and we do look at plus or minuses. So that is going to come into play, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next slide when I go into our science-based prerequisite courses. All of our science prerequisites, which are chemistry, microbiology, anatomy, and physiology, are required to have a lab component to them as well. We also require all of our students to take the ATI TEAS test. This is the Assessment Technology Institute test of essential academic skills. It is a standardized pre-nursing examination, and it is one of the most common screening tests for nursing schools in California. I was a nursing school student in California. I know that likely you are applying to multiple programs, and I'm willing to bet that majority of your programs are going to require this exam as a pre-licensure exam. My biggest thing that I tell students when I talk about the TEAS test is you want to take it when you are ready and make sure that you study ahead of time. It is seemingly simple categories, but if you haven't worked on these for a while, because many of us who are coming back as second degree nurses maybe have been out of school for a while, it's a good idea to get some study materials. The first place I would have you go is atitesting.com. That is the website for the company that administers the test, and they have a lot of information about the test. And I'm going to go over some of it, but they talk to you in detail about what is on this test. So there are a total of 170 multiple choice questions. The time limit for taking the exam is 209 minutes. Due to the pandemic, we started to accept self-proctored or remote proctored testing. We are still accepting that and will continue to accept that for the foreseeable future. But you can also take these tests at a local PSI testing center, or many community colleges and university campuses also offer this test. It does not matter to us where you take the test. The one thing that I tell students about the remote proctoring version of the test is that ATI makes you solely responsible for any technological difficulties. So your internet is not good, if your computer crashes, if anything goes wrong during the test, they will not pause your exam and they will not restart your exam. So it does add an extra layer of stress because you essentially both have to take your test and proctor your own test. And so, it may be a situation where that's a better option for you, but I have heard from many candidates that it's very stressful to do the remote testing. So you may want to consider actually taking that test in person at a testing center. It's going to cover the 4 subjects of reading, math, science, and English. Within those, there are further categories which are listed here. There are 53 reading items. There are an additional 36 math items, 53 science questions, and then an additional 28 English questions. And so if you have not yet taken this exam, this is what you can expect. For our program, we require a minimum score of 70th national percentile rank in each of the 4 categories to be eligible. If you have scored below that 70th percentile in the national percentile rank, unfortunately, you are not eligible for this application cycle. Now, you can come back and reapply with us next year and retake the exam. And if your score ends up above that 70th percentile, all good, no worries. We cannot substitute any exam for the TEAS tests. So if you've taken the GRE or the HESI exam, we will not be accepting that as a substitute for the TEAS. All of our candidates need to take the TEAS test. There are some limitations, and they are posted within our ABSN application procedure. The main thing to know is that for our program, we allow 1 attempt per application cycle, and the time frame that we look at is from a year when you would start the program. So if you're currently thinking about joining us for our summer 2026 program, that will start in June of 2026. So we are going to look at any ATI score that occurs between June 1 of 2025 and the application closing date of January 6th, 2026. So we are going to look at any attempt in that window. Now, because we only allow our students to take the test 1 time in order to get that 70th percentile rank or above, we are going to handle your scores in a very specific way. So we know that there are other programs. We know that you're applying to other programs. We are encouraging you to look for as many options as possible. But if your program allows you to take the TEAS test multiple times, that is fine. That will not disqualify you. If you take the TEAS test 3 times, You still will be eligible to apply to our program, but we are only going to look at the first attempt within that June 1st of 2025 through January 6th of 2026 window. Any additional tests that are taken in that window will not be considered as part of your application process. So just to look at what we're talking about, because scores can be confusing, this is the sheet that we need you to upload as part of your testing process, along with the additional part of the performance profile that you get from ATI. We do not need you to send us your scores directly through the ATI website. We do not receive those transcripts. What we have you do is download a copy of your ATI transcript and you upload it to your nursing CAS application. So this is the sheet that you're going to upload to your nursing CAS application. You can see here, let's just look at this. What we're looking at is these red bars. Those red bars are the national percentile rank, and that is where we are looking at. On the side here, you have reading, math, science scores. These are your individual adjusted scores. We are looking at your red national percentile rank score. So you can see for the reading category, this person got a 91% national percentile rank, but only an 87% in their adjusted score. Where this comes into play is, so for example, if you look at the person's science score, their individual adjusted score is 68%, but their national percentile rank is 77th percent. We would accept this candidate with that 77th percent national percentile rank. But in their English language usage score, you can see that they have a 70.8% adjusted score, but their percentile rank is only 64th percent. That would make them ineligible for our program, unfortunately. So again, the score for TEAS testing that you are looking at is that red bar, that national percentile rank. We do need you to have a previous bachelor's degree. This must be from an accredited institution. Basically, US-based institutions that have accreditation will count. If you're coming from an international program, you're going to want to talk to our international admissions office to make sure that your bachelor's degree meets their standard, and then you will have to have all of your previous coursework evaluated by a credentialing service like WES. Now, for that bachelor's degree, it has to be earned by the end of the preceding fall quarter or semester. Essentially, when you submit your application, which is due by January 6th of 2026, we need there to be an official transcript that shows degree conference of that bachelor's degree. So if you're somebody who's just finishing up your degree right now, that's totally fine, but we need to see a bachelor's degree conferred on your official transcript when you submit your application on January 6th. We cannot take you if you're finishing your degree in the spring of 2026, because if something goes wrong and you don't finish your degree, then you won't be eligible for the program and we lose a spot and you lose an opportunity. So we need that to be posted by that application deadline. Other things that we're going to require for the application: a 2-page essay. It is an open-ended essay, 2 pages, double-spaced. What I tell candidates when I'm talking about this essay with them is that it is essentially your opportunity to humanize your application. We try as much as possible to have a holistic process. And part of the first way that you're able to show something beyond just the individual scores and GPA and all of that is through this essay. So you're giving us an opportunity to see who's behind the scenes. There's no specific prompt. When pushed, I often say, why nursing? Meaning, tell us about your journey to nursing. You initially pursued a degree in a different field and now you're coming to nursing. What made you make that change? Or you've always wanted to be a nurse, but this is the path you took to get to us. Why was that the case? Or something happened that made you interested in nursing. Tell us about that. But please note that you are submitting an essay to a group of academic faculty. They are going to look at your spelling, your grammar, whether or not this was AI generated. Make sure that you are providing your own work and that it is, reasonable and at the standards of a college level writing essay. We also require 2 letters of recommendation. Those letters of recommendation do not need to be academic in nature. They can come from really anyone who can speak to why you would be a good fit for the nursing profession, why you might thrive in an accelerated program, how you work in teams, how you learn, and then what potential you have as a leader. The only really stipulation is it can't be someone who's related to you. So when I'm joking around, I say anyone but your mom. But it can be a colleague, a peer, a former employer. It doesn't have to be an academic. It should be someone who can speak to who you are as a person. If you're just going to go after your Zoom instructor for anatomy and physiology, who you were a black box on the screen for 16 weeks, they're probably not going to give you as personalized a recommendation as someone who really knows you. And that's who you should be seeking out for this recommendation. You need to have all 6 of our prerequisites completed, and we don't need, but we strongly recommend healthcare experience. Our most competitive candidates usually come to us with healthcare experience, and we'll talk a little bit about that. The most competitive applicants will be invited for an interview. And I'll talk about that process right now. So our application is going to open November 1st. So that's this Saturday, and it will close on Tuesday, January 6th. During that window, you are going to apply to the Nursing CAS website. You are not applying to the Cal State Apply website. You are applying to Nursing CAS. You will do everything through that online portal. It is a standardized nursing application. It should allow you to apply actually to a bunch of different nursing programs. After you submit your application on January 6th, and we are not a rolling application process, we look at all applications that come in this window the same way. So whether you get it in on day 1 or the day the application is due, it will be reviewed the same way. During January, we will review all of the applications for eligibility. The applications that are eligible will be then invited to apply to the university itself. This university application takes place in the month of February from Feb 1 to Feb 28. It is a technicality. The application process will be based on your nursing CAS application, but you also have to matriculate and be registered to the university, which is why you need that university application as well. So all eligible applicants will receive an invitation from us to apply to the university in February. While that process is going on, the top 70 to 75 applicants will be invited for an interview. That interview is a 30-minute interview. And again, it's a holistic process. We're trying to evaluate not just the grades, but who the person is and what type of potential they have to thrive in the nursing profession. And so that's really how that process is going to work. For our prerequisites, like I said, we have 6 of them. The big ones that matter are the 4 science prerequisites, and they are anatomy, physiology, chemistry, and microbiology. All 4 of these courses must be at minimum 4 semester units total, including a lab, or 6 quarter units total, including a lab. It is okay if you took a combined anatomy and physiology course, but that combined anatomy and physiology course must be at least then 8 units total to match the 4 semester units for anatomy and 4 semester units for physiology. All sciences must have a lab component. We do accept online coursework. So if you took your science prereqs online, that's totally fine. It's fine if they had an online lab. They just needed to have some type of a lab component, and they need to be completed by the time the application deadline comes up on January 6th. And that's our stipulation for that coursework there. We have an additional 2 prerequisite requirements. So all of our prerequisites have to be completed prior to the application process, and that includes critical thinking, which is a university requirement. If you are coming from a CSU or a UC, you have met this requirement. If you are coming from a CSU, it is the course that satisfies the A3 requirement. If you are coming from a UC, it likely was one of your your second or third writing course or analysis course, and we can help you identify that. It's typically going to be a course, either a philosophy course in rhetoric or argumentation, a political course in analysis, an English course in analysis, but it should specifically talk about critical thinking in the kind of course description. The other course is an inferential statistics course. Now, this can be statistics for any discipline. So it doesn't have to be called inferential statistics. It can be statistics for the humanities, statistics for business, statistics for social sciences. It just needs to be a 3-unit course that covered inferential statistics. And both of those prerequisites, critical thinking and inferential statistics, have to be 3 units or more and met at a C level or higher, or 2.0 GPA or higher. Now, we do have 3 additional courses that we do need our candidates to think about, and these are required for graduation. If you haven't completed these courses, they will not prevent you from applying to the program, nor will they factor into your application, meaning that we won't consider you better or worse if you have these courses completed, but you have to have them finished in order to graduate, and you cannot take them as part of our coursework because our ABSN students only take the roadmap that is available in our program. You're not able to take additional coursework at Cal State LA. As a result of that, these courses need to be completed outside of Cal State LA. So you can complete them prior to starting the program. I usually tell students this is a great thing to do with your spring semester. If not, you can complete them while you're in the program, but you cannot complete them at Cal State LA. Those courses include a developmental or lifespan psychology course. It has to cover birth to death. This can be lifespan psychology or human development. It cannot be intro to psychology, and it cannot be child development. It has to be birth to death. Intro to sociology or cultural anthropology will fulfill the second requirement, and the last one is a human nutrition course. If you are thinking about joining us for the summer 2027 cohort and you're here to find out about prerequisites, we highly recommend you take your prerequisite courses at local community colleges. It is really the best deal in town. They are shockingly affordable. They provide excellent learning communities. And to be honest, the rigor at the community colleges is really quite high. They provide you a really awesome opportunity to kind of get a good foundation before you come to nursing school. We do accept coursework from previous bachelor's degrees along with coursework from other accredited institutions. Now, an accredited institution is going to be an institution that is able to grant you a transcript with college coursework on it. Any remaining non-science prerequisite courses must be completed during the winter intersession at the latest. If you are going to apply with any prerequisite courses, critical thinking or stats in process, email the ABSN advisement email ahead of time to let us know and make sure we respond and give you an okay. That way we don't flag your application as being incomplete when it comes in, but we can give you up until the end of January to complete the critical thinking or statistics requirement. So for our courses, we do require that those science prerequisites be at a B or better. If you did not get a B on your initial attempt, we allow you to retake it, but then we average the 2 scores together, and the average of the 2 scores has to be a B or better. The way our program works is we have no recency requirements, meaning that if you took the course 2 months ago or 20 years ago, we will still accept it and we will still consider it the same way, but it also can haunt some of our candidates as well. So for some people, that's great news. That chemistry course you took 10 years ago during your bachelor's program is still valid and you got a B or an A, and that's great. For some of you, that chemistry course you took 10 years ago that you got a C in is going to come back to haunt you a little bit, and you'll need to retake it and get an A so that the average is a B. We are accepting courses taken online. I said this before, but I will say it again. So online coursework is acceptable. It must be from a US-based accredited institution or from an international transcript that has been evaluated for US equivalency by a company like WES. So if you're coming to us with an international degree, we can take some of that coursework to meet prerequisites, but it has to be evaluated and then it meets the same standards as anything taken at a US-based institution. 4 units or better at a B or better. We highly recommend the community colleges. Can't say this enough. If you haven't already, community colleges are awesome. We do not accept ACE recommendations. So there are a couple of online learning programs out there that are not accredited. They do not offer college transcripts or credits. They offer the recommendation of credit through the ACE program. We do not accept coursework that is ACE recommended. It has to come from an accredited institution that is granting you college credit, not the recommendation of credit. So that is the application process. If you still have questions, happy to answer those questions at the end of the information session. Right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the curriculum of the program, what to expect should you join us in our program. So our licensure content is pre-licensure content, meaning it's what everyone in the state of California is going to get curricularly before they get their license. Now, nursing education is heavily regulated in California, and so all nursing programs are essentially delivering some version of the same curriculum that the state has mandated that we cover. Our program is covered in 15 months. It's important to note, I can't state this enough, it is an accelerated program, which means that it is the same coursework that our traditional BSN students take in 3 years, just smashed into 15 months. And so that is going to require a significant time commitment from you as the learner to be successful in this 15-month accelerated program. It is a rigorous schedule with theory and clinical courses being taught concurrently. What I tell students to prepare for is on an average week, you are going to have 2 6 to 8 hour days of lecture per week, and then you are going to have 2 12-hour clinical shifts per week. So 4 days a week, you can expect to be either on the Cal State LA campus or in one of our local hospitals doing your clinical rotations. And then those other 3 days a week, you're likely studying or preparing for your next clinical rotation, or just trying to, eat and exercise and get your clothes washed. So just be prepared. It is a pretty significant commitment. We do get you into the hospital right away. We are proud of our clinical partnerships and the clinical education we provide, and we think it is vital to growing the next generation of nurses. So we start you in the hospital halfway through the summer program. So you are going to start June, I think it's the 2nd this year. It's the first Monday in June. We will have you in the hospital by the first week of July. Clinical rotations, or practicums as they called, are 9 to 12-hour shifts, with majority being 12-hour shifts. And they take place in the skills lab, the physical assessment lab, the simulation lab, but majority of them take place in hospital-based settings. So in the first summer, you are going to be taking fundamentals of nursing, along with its clinical course, fundamentals of nursing practicum, pathophysiology, health assessment, along with its lab course, health assessment practicum. That is going to run from the first week of June to the first week of August. And then starting in the 3rd week of August, you'll start your fall semester. This semester, you'll be taking nursing care of adults, which is our adult med-surg nursing course, along with the clinical component of that course, nursing care of adults. You will also be taking psychiatric nursing, along with the practicum associated with that, psychiatric nursing practicum. You'll also be taking nursing research and pharmacology. That is a 16-week semester, and it is going to run through the 2nd week of December, so the 3rd week of August to the 2nd week of December. You then take a 3-week winter intersession, which takes place in January. This will cover nursing leadership as a lecture course. And then in the spring semester, it's a 16-week semester again, from the 4th week of January through the 2nd week of May. You will be taking nursing care of children and the clinical component of that, nursing care of children practicum. You will be taking the OB L&D course, nursing care of women and infants, and the practicum, nursing care of women and infants, so the clinical component of that course. You will be taking our Advanced Nursing and Leadership Concepts course, which is our Advanced Med-Surg Critical Care ICU ED course, and then the clinical component of that, which is Advanced Nursing Practicum. In the final summer session, again, we're going to go from the 1st week of June to the 1st week of August, and you will be taking community health nursing along with the clinical component of that community of health nursing practicum. Taking this coursework does qualify you to apply for your public health nurse certificate along with your RN license after graduation. We also do have our preceptorship course and our prep course. That is Advanced Cooperative Education, which is a transition to practice course. And then the preceptorship clinical component along with it, Advanced Cooperative Education preceptorships. And that's what our roadmap looks like. We do use a lot of different sites for our practicums. Now, we are a public institution and we are not allowed, per the state of California, to pay for any of our placements. So all of our placements are based on relationships that we have built over the course of our time providing nursing education. And they vary from semester to semester based on the needs of our clinical partners. But hospitals that we frequently use include Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, Huntington Hospital, Keck Hospital USC, Kaiser Hospital, specifically Kaiser Los Angeles Medical Center, Kaiser Downey Medical Center, LAC USC, so County General, and LA Downtown Medical Center, along with White Memorial, Adventist Health White Memorial. In order to be in a hospital-based setting, you do need to qualify and have certain health requirements met. These are not our requirements, these are our clinical partners' requirements. And so that's important to distinguish. It's not that the university is saying that you need this in order to be there, it's the hospital saying you need this in order to be there. And there are very few exceptions to these requirements, and that is true both for nursing students, but also for nurses who are working in the field. As these placements are voluntary placements by these hospitals, we have to follow their policies. So we do require all of our students have both the MMR and varicella, along with proof of vaccination and then titers. So you can't just have gotten vaccinated when you were 5. You have to show that you currently have immunity by taking a titer. It's something you can start to work on while you're kind of in this spring application period. A hepatitis B vaccine series along with a titer to show immunity. You do need a Tdap vaccine within the last 10 years and renewed annually if you're overdue. We do also require that all of our candidates show a initial 2-step TB skin test or quantiferon gold, followed by an annual 1-step TB test. We do require the flu vaccine annually. You may be required to get fit test certified as part of the program. You may also need a urine drug screen. Or you're going to need a urine drug screen. And then we do require the COVID-19 vaccine and boosters. Now, this is required by most hospitals as well. Additional things to look out for, there is a background check as part of the application or as part of the enrollment process. You do need to be CPR certified, and it has to be by American Heart Association, and you need the BLS healthcare provider. You do need a driver's license and proof of auto insurance, proof of health insurance, and unfortunately, Cal State LA does not provide health insurance, so you will have to maintain your own health insurance during the program. You do need an annual physical exam, and these requirements are all subject to change, and some of our hospitals have additional requirements that may be necessary. So let's talk a little bit about the cost of the program. So the pre-licensure portion of the program is offered through our College of Professional and Global Education. That is our extension college, and those tuition and fees are separate from those at our normal state-supported institution. Because this is a degree for baccalaureate students, it does not receive the state subsidies that our first degree students receive. So the current cost for the 15-month ABSN program is $695 per semester unit, which comes out to approximately $37,000 in tuition cost. There are some additional costs that our students are subject to, and I'll go over that in a second. Like I was saying, it is offered through the College of Professional and Global Education, which means that our program is completely tuition based. We do not receive any support from the state of California monetarily. It also means that our students, unfortunately, are not eligible for state supported grants and fee waivers. So the CalVet fee waiver only waives stateside fees, not self-support fees, and therefore is not eligible for our program. Any other state-based fee waivers or grants are also not eligible for our program. Additional things to look out for, books. So textbooks can be pretty expensive in nursing school. You can expect to pay up to $2,000 for those. We also do require you to purchase some proctored specific testing, which comes at a cost of about $900. There is a lab fee of about $200. Uniforms typically cost about $75. You are required to get a lab coat and a student ID, which is an additional $40. And then the background check and the Complio Castle Branch program is about $91 as well. We do require that our students carry malpractice insurance, which you can purchase through the university at a cost of $20 annually. You do need to get the LA City Fire Card, which is a $45 to $70 fee. You want to get the blue LA City Fire Card. So if you already have the blue LA City Fire Card, you're good to go. If not, you will need to take that course before you get started. Parking both at the university campus and at the hospitals can cost up to $750 for the program. The Student Health Center does charge $138.47 fee per semester. The Student Union charges a fee. There is a fee to do live scanning when you graduate for the BRN. There is a graduation fee, and then there is an application fee as well. Like I said earlier, there is an option for some of our students to go on and get their master's degree after the ABSN program. So we do offer master's degrees in various different advanced practice nursing roles. So we have a family nurse practitioner program, an acute care nurse practitioner program that we're currently running, and a mental health nurse practitioner program. The only option that is available to ABSN students directly after graduating without any experience as an RN is the FNP program. And the way that works is you would apply to the FNP program during the spring semester of your ABSN program. Should you get accepted to the program, you will begin your master's 2 weeks after you graduate the ABSN program. Now, that program is offered through stateside and therefore is offered at the tuition rate for a graduate student, which is approximately $7,600 per year. Currently, we are running our FMP, our ACMP, our Family Mental Health Nurse Practitioner program, and our nursing education programs. Currently, our Adult Gero Nurse Practitioner and our nursing admin program are on hold at the moment. We do have a website. Everything that I have covered today is on that website, and plenty of more information is also available on that website. So I would recommend going there if you have not. Check out our admission procedure, our application procedure. It walks you through step by step the application process, so you can make sure to be confident that you know exactly what you need. And it also has frequently asked questions. So again, we're going to answer some questions in a few moments, but if there are additional questions that you have, that FAQ document is a pretty decent living document that covers a lot of the questions we commonly get. And there's also a roadmap up there for you to check out. And then usually we have recordings of previous information sessions as well. Other helpful websites are the Cal State LA website. Assist.org allows you to look at community college coursework and see if it will transfer to Cal State LA. And then, like I said, we do take a lot of different experiences for health experience. We take volunteer work, we take EMT, CNA, MA, previous research experience in health work, previous teaching in healthcare, previous presentations, volunteer work. But if you don't have any healthcare experience, we highly, highly recommend you get it for two reasons. First off, nursing is a wonderful career. I love being a nurse. I think it's probably one of the most life-changing things that's happened to me. But that doesn't mean that it's an easy career. And you want to know pretty quickly if this is the type of environment that you feel comfortable working in. And so we highly recommend that you go see the hospitals, get an idea of what a nurse really does on a day-to-day basis before you commit to a 15-month program and spend $40,000. You want to make sure that this is the right thing for you. The other thing is that because it's a 15-month program, it is trial by fire. You are thrown into the mix right away. And having some previous healthcare experience, even just so that you understand the language of nursing a little bit more, is going to be incredibly beneficial to you. So I would recommend checking out the Cope Health Scholar Program. They provide some of the most comprehensive volunteer experiences that you can get. as a non-licensed professional. So they don't just give you volunteer experiences, but they basically put you in a CNA type role where you're able to engage with members of the healthcare team. You're providing direct patient care, and they really do a great job of kind of giving people exposure to the healthcare field. So copehealthscholars.org. Everybody's here because hopefully they want to work as a nurse. So we like to give some employment data. This is for our cohort that graduated in 2023. 22 of 30 RNs found employment within 4 months. 29 of 30 found RN employment with 6 months, and all were employed within 12 months of graduation. So our candidates tend to find pretty good opportunities within the field as well. And then all 30 were hired as hospital-based staff RNs. Thank you so much for coming out to today's Cal State LA ABSN information session. If you are interested in advisement, you can email us at absn_advisement@calstatela.edu. There is some information on our website under the contact us page about how to format your emails if you're reaching out to that ABSN advisement email, because we do receive a very high volume of emails and we are limited in our resources. We do ask that you kind of think about what you ask us and how you're asking us to do that before you reach out. So we do appreciate you for doing that.